What's up, everybody? It's CrazyToast, and today we'll be looking at the Type 5916, a Tier 6 Chinese tank. A little history about it. A little history about the 5916. It was a prototype to the Type 62 Chinese tank. Development began in 1960 and ended in 1962. The tank entered production in limited numbers, but it was just basically a prototype. I don't think it really ever saw combat. I can't really find any articles or anything that said it was ever in combat. Let's get on with the in-game stats. Armor. It's pretty weak for a Tier 6. It's one of the few Tier 6 light tanks, so it doesn't really have amazing armor to other Tier 6s. It only has 30 frontal armor, 20 side and rear armor, millimeters of armor. Turret's not even that much better. It's at 45, 30, and 20. So you're getting penetrated. The slopeness doesn't really help that much. It might take up, some damage, but it's not going to last long, especially since you're in tier 6 through 9 or even 10 tier 10 matches. So you're not really going to survive very long if you get spotted and shot. Maneuverability, it actually has pretty damn good maneuverability. Its traverse speed is 54 degrees a second, which is actually higher than the T50-2, so that's something. Combine that with the turret traverse of 48 degrees a second, that's pretty amazing. You can pretty much snap onto a target if you need to. Its engine, maxed out, it's 430 horsepower. That gives it 25 horsepower per ton, which is pretty good, but its acceleration, I feel, is a little on the low side. But it gets the job done. It's not too slow, but then again, it isn't the fastest thing, especially with the speed limit of 60. It's really not the fastest thing. There's other, faster vehicles. When it comes down to the weapons, you get to use 3 weapons here. The 57mm, that's one you start out with. Keep it. It's probably one of the better guns. It has a lot of penetration compared to the 76. It has a good rate of fire. It has a decent penetration, and it'll do a fair bit of damage to a target. It isn't bad. However, the 76, which may look appealing, because you're in such high matches, you're going to need that penetration. Considering that, you get a little more damage to it, you really don't get the high penetration or the rate of fire, so there's no real incentive to really putting on the 76, since most of the targets you're hitting, you need that little extra penetration. The 76 autoloader, however, it corrects the problem of having the 76 with the low rate of fire. Now, since you got the autoloader, it goes pretty fast. It only takes maybe like a half second or a second to reload. It's not bad. Still, it doesn't have the high penetration, so that's really up to you. If you put on the autoloader and just don't feel like it's penetrating enough, then just put back on the 57. It's really all up to personal preference there. Equipment, I would say the medium gun rammer if you're using the 57 or the 76. I always use it because you never know when you get in that little tight spot where you really need to that little bit of ROF. Now, for the second slot, I'm kind of divided. I play a scout more aggressively than what you're actually supposed to. I'm more of a flanker, and if I just happen to spot something, then I do get a little bonus for that. But I'm more of a flanking kind of guy. I'm the guy that goes out there trying to distract the bigger guys or the little guys, so that way they doesn't take all the fire. And because of that, I use a sprawl liner because I do ram lights. I do need the added protection there. Other than that, I would say, because I use a sprawl liner for ramming and when attacking artillery, because artillery likes to go TD mode once a light gets there, so you will need that added protection. It does come in handy. Another you can use are the binocular telescope, which gives you 25% view range, which is not bad when you're stationary, or you can use the coated optics to give you a little more, view range while you're moving or whatever. Those two things, if you're a better scout than I am, then you should go for that. Also, camo net, if you're also a scout, because, a scout without its camo net is basically a shitty tank. Or you can, lastly, you can just go with ventilation. But there's more benefits with the sprawl liner or the other scopes or optics. First off, tactically wise, it feels like a light tank. However, to me, there's better light tanks to do the scouting job. Sure, you can do some, some guys can really scout with this thing. I've seen guys, just be able to, be a really good, effective scout with this thing, and I've done it as well. But I feel like there's, the Chaff A and the T50-2, or even the T50 are a little better at the job. Just because, it's a little on the slow side, and its view range isn't, it's decent, but it isn't all that much better than anything else. So, it's a light tank. You can scout with it. It's not the best scout. So, I usually use it as a light flanker. Basically, if I see a tank that's all alone, and it's combating my friend, I'll try to, distract him a little bit to, just to help out my buddies. Not too much on the scouting, but I will scout if necessary. Basically, you want to either play as a passive scout or a really cautious flanker, and what I mean is you won't be able to pen many targets past tier 6 or 7. Most engagements usually end with me dying. So, engaging is sort of a non-issue. You really don't want to unless you really know you can actually hurt the enemy. So, you want to pick your targets very well when you're actually fighting. Make sure you don't run into anything big and scary, because I don't think even gold rounds could help you. Just flank an enemy and just stay hidden otherwise. Stay back if you want to, and just rush for the arty, just like regular, lights do. Wait until the enemy really does, hurt the, wait until they whittle themselves down and then charge out. I think the Type 5916 might actually be better for as a backup scout. Basically, you let the first wave of scouts go out, and you just kind of sit back and just wait until those guys die. You're kind of like the backup. You're kind of like the bench warmer in scouts. You're not the best, but then again, you're not terrible. You made it. So don't. I usually tend to stay away from anything past tier 7 when combating. I will engage if they're not pointed their guns at me, or I think I'm safe from enemy guns. Combating these things alone, 5916 isn't really much of a threat unless you're like a TD or an artillery. And even at most TDs, they usually have enough armor to stop. Most have enough to stop the 76 at this point, in the higher tiers. Tier 6s, you still got to worry about, this guy, because he will tear you up. He has, especially as the autoloader or the 57, expect some rounds to be up your ass. If you get hit by anything else above, tier 7, even at tier 7, you most likely will be limping away, if not dead, from those engagements. You won't not live very long. Don't let this, sloped armor, make you feel like you're strong, because really this is not a mini Type 59. It's not. It's nowhere near it. You're just gonna get hit and you're just gonna die. But there's really not too much to worry about it if you're really engaging it up front. It's really not that strong. I mean, if you're in a Tiger P, there's really nothing too much to worry about. You only really have to worry about it if it's like if you're in like an AT2 or something really slow where you can't, maneuver your gun to shoot at it. Other than that, you're basically fine. You should be fine. Just make sure it doesn't get on your flank. And that's basically it. Just watch yourself, and you should do all right combating these things. These things aren't, they're light tanks. just treat it like you would any other. So here we are on a map that I forgot the name of, and we're in our Type 59, and we are having a start. So I move over this way. My idea was to get a sense where the enemy was at and see which flank they were coming in hard on, and so I go this way. And I'm basically gonna sit up there on the train tracks and wait for an enemy to pop up, because I am El Sneaky. And an IS tank and an AT2. So yeah, I don't want to continue going that way. Hello, M6. So I'll start going this way. make my way back. And that's when I noticed some enemies here. So I'm gonna go help the PZ 4. Or is it 3? No, it's 4. So I'll just start taking pot shots at it. Why not? And it certainly did get his attention. Didn't do any damage, but shoot up that last round. So I back up. I'm waiting. And I'm waiting. Catch him on his side. Yeah. So he moved out of the way. Buddy VK now moving into the area, so now that I know that I have support, I'll move into the Dragon's Den with him. See that VK over there, I didn't know if he was coming in or what, so I backed up. Clipped him. Oh, and he did, and he is destroyed. So I figured I'd go around this M4 and hit him from the back, since I can't hurt him from the front. He's got 100mm frontal armor, so even if I do get a flat surface, I wouldn't be able to hurt him from the front. So I go around the back. And I just unload on him. He probably regrets turning around. So I'm kind of at a loss of what to do. We've lost that entire right flank. Almost. And a lot of guys on the left side still there, so I go where there's most of them at, so that way I don't get killed. And I find an AT-2 on the, just stuck. Just tracked. Basically no threat. Still can't hurt it though. 100mm of armor is not good for a 76mm gun, which can only penetrate a 85. So, at the time, I didn't notice it, but right about here I find out the IS is right behind me. And I was not too happy about it. Artillery shot off. I noticed it, but I didn't want to trip the siren yet, so I decided to go around the cap. And on my way to attack that SU-8, I run into a new friend right there in AMX. That was kind of stupid. I didn't realize which way he was pointing. He was pointing at me, but he didn't fire, so I managed to hurt him. Now, right here, I was waiting for the gun to reload, and I knew I couldn't really get that around that corner without him noticing, so I decided to leave the area, or pretend like I was leaving, and then come back. Just drop eye contact, and should have lost me, so I'm going to go back now. But see, I left the cap. Now he knows something's up. And ouch. 1 hit point. But I did get to end him. He killed my driver as well. I just decided to use my repair kit and get inside that circle as fast as I can. There's no enemies around that I know of. The IS is still engaging everybody on the other side, or at least I'm hoping, so I park inside of a dead tree. And now I wait. And wait. And wait. So basically what's going on is that the enemy either doesn't know that I'm here or doesn't care. We still don't know. I don't think... Yeah, the KV's still in the city fighting. And so is the M6 and VK. And of course, they're going back and forth between each other trying to figure out what's going on. I've only got 1 hit point left, so as soon as they see me, I'm dead. But the enemy doesn't turn around, the enemy keeps coming. Or at least the rest of them still fight. So basically I'm shit out of luck if that IS decides to come back and is fast enough to get back to me. But yet I'm waiting. And waiting some more. So all seems fine. All seems well. I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to wait and wait. Okay, so they took out a TD, so I'm still waiting. Nothing really going on. I start looking around, hoping nothing comes up my ass. Nothing comes out of nowhere and, hits me. And then I see the IS on the minimap moving towards me. I start panicking a little bit. Yeah, there he is. Shit, but he doesn't see me. And the game ends. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment if you think I got anything wrong. CrazyToast out.